Where are they?
They're probably upstairs.
They never answer the door. Oh, wait. It's Monday night.
They're on the second floor.
Hey guys, welcome back to the second floor. Thanks for tuning back in with us. Today we got a couple topics. One of our big main topics is life lessons, and basically where in our life where we flipped the switch on life. What at that moment when something switched and just turned it on for you to be a good human.
When it clicked.
Yep.
What changed you? What made you realize it?
Yeah. So you start us out. Just where were we at?
Well, for me, if I think about that for any time at all, there's one life lesson where I kind of, I won't say changed, but I would say that it really made me realize I didn't need to be lazy and I needed to try. I guess my very best. So, growing up, I had a good example of what hard work is and what I should be doing in life.
Yeah, mom was a hard worker, and she,
Can I talk?
You go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ask me a question.
My bad. I'm just telling you. You go right ahead.
Anyway, I was rudely interrupted.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So, anyway, I had good examples growing up. My parents worked my mom worked a swing shift job.
Hey, so did my mom.
Did you?
Yeah.
Swing?
My mom. She was a hard worker too.
Okay, that's good.
Go ahead.
And my dad worked, and both of them worked 40 years or plus at their jobs that they had. So I saw dedication, motivation, and sticking to what worked, and had a good example of keeping your head down and getting it done was the way to go. So I had that, but I never had that. So I was more of a get by on as little as you can. Schoolwork was probably a big deal with that with me.
Both of us, I'm sure.
I kind of did bare minimums to get by. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can remember doing extra credit in high school to pass a class, begging so I don't have to go back over and do it again. Kind of thing, which by the way was Spanish, and I'm not bilingual.
Well, I never took Spanish, so
well,
I was your 75, maybe 75 to 80 kid. I was not.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
It was a kind of get by sort of thing.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, me too. So, and I think it kind of started with growing up. My parents were older, so we maybe we had a little bit looser reins than some younger parents would give kids or something, almost like a mama papa style more, not I mean, I had grandparents, so it wasn't that, but right. I'm just saying a little bit more laxed maybe. Got by with maybe a little bit more. We've talked about what we've got by with a little bit. So anyway, good examples. I knew what hard work was. I just didn't want to put forth the effort to do it, But anyway, I had where I work currently. It's a shop I work at, not at the location, but same business I've been in since I was 17. I remember when I was young. I don't know if I was 17, 18, 19 years old, but we had a guy at the shop who had messed up on a vehicle and had a comeback. And long story short, the customer wanted the guy to look at it again. He blew it off like it was some rocks or something making the noise, and it basically couldn't have been anything he did, or wasn't anything he did, and he just made a mistake, flat out made a mistake, and like I said, blew it off, whatever. Anyway, the owner ended up getting another mechanic that was there at the time to look at it, and come to find out it was a brake pad put on backwards, and that was a big problem,
Yeah.
The owner decided to really make an example out of him that day, and really he was probably reacting on emotion and just went crazy on him. Anyway, that day ends, next day begins. The very first thing that he does when we come back to work the next day, and I'm young, I'm I'm just doing this job just because I got to have a job, you know.
Yeah, your mom and dad's making you.
Yeah, it's
got a
not
job.
it's not anything that I'm destined to do. Well, apparently I was, but
Yeah, because you're still there.
yeah, I'm not thinking this is my career kind of thing. So anyway, he gets us, the owner comes back in. He had given the guy the day off without pay or something that day. He wasn't even there, but he gets us all in a big group, and you could probably get the 7 or 8 people that were there, and I guarantee you nobody remembers this. But it stuck with me to this day, and I think it's made a big difference in who I am and how I do things, and I've never forgotten it. I've just never forgotten it, and I don't know why. I don't know, but the story behind it really stuck in my mind by the example he gave. So anyway, he got us all together, rounded us up in a big group, and first of all, he apologized to all of us that we had to witness what happened, you know. But then he went immediately into a story about his father, basically. But he said, you know, this guy was so arrogant that he didn't think he could have made a mistake.
I do remember this story.
He basically refused to look at it again, or just didn't think it was important enough to pay more attention to and look at it again, give it a second look or whatever.
But we've all done that on stuff. We've all made a mistake and been like, "Wow, I can't believe I done that."
Oh, absolutely, it was,
Yeah.
and it was 100% accident.
And think you're right. You think, "Well, I know that ain't nothing I done." Then you look at it and you're like, "Yeah, well, I should have done that different." you know?
Right. So it was 100% an accident, not anything intentional, no ill intent there.
Just the way he handled it after the fact.
That is what got him so upset. Yeah, my boss so upset. So he asked in a circle. He talked to us. Like I said, he started out with the situation yesterday by apologizing that we all had to witness it, but then went straight into making an example out of it. So he told us, he was so arrogant to think that he couldn't have made a mistake, and obviously we saw a mistake 15 minutes after he decided he wasn't going to look at it, and told the customer, that basically, or told him to drive it, and it just got worse. So anyway, came back and another mechanic found it, and he said, but the point I want to get across here to you guys, he said, I'm going to tell you a story. He said, when my father had heart issues, and his mom had took him to the hospital, and they ended up having to do open heart surgery on him. And he's at home recovering. Now, this is back in the day, so I don't know how much recovery time was there. But long story short, he gets home, and he's not feeling well. So his mom takes his dad back to the hospital again, and he says, I guess back then it wasn't like it is now, I'm sure, in the hospitals, but the way I was told the story is the doctor's up somewhere in the hospital, whatever floor, doing other heart patients and working on stuff and whatever else. My dad was just there. They just paid him the money. They just was there for a major surgery, and because he was too busy or thought he couldn't have made a mistake or whatever, it wasn't important enough to stop what I'm doing, whatever it was that he was doing, Could have been in the middle of open heart surgery. You can't stop that,
Can't stop that, yeah.
But you could keep him there or have somebody else look at him or anything else. He called back down to the floor that they were on, emergency room, whatever it was, and said, tell him to go home. Tell him to go home, take some Tums. He's fine. He had indigestion or whatever, just trapped gas, whatever they told him it was. Anyway, he died that night of open heart surgery, or of a massive heart attack after that surgery. Died that night. And, my boss said, and I fully put the blame on that doctor for not looking at him again, not caring enough, and thinking that he was arrogant enough where he couldn't have made some kind of mistake or something couldn't have went wrong or anything else,
absolutely.
And so he told us all right then and there, boys, never, ever think you're too good to make a mistake. When you think you couldn't have made a mistake, go back over it again and make sure. And to this day, everything that I do, I do it to everything I do. I hear that in the back of my mind, because you're going to make a mistake.
Absolutely.
And I preach to the guys, let's control the things we can control, because there's a lot out of control, that we're not going to be able to, we got to deal with regardless. It's going to happen. But let's control the things we can. But everything I do, Matt, I think about that moment when he told us that. And anytime I get a phone call, if it's my store and we've been working on it, and somebody says something's happened afterwards, it don't matter. The very first thing in my mind is, you're defensive.
Yeah,
Every time with
absolutely.
anything, you are like, and it can be something where you go, and I know from experience, I know it has absolutely nothing to do with that at all.
Yeah.
But because of that story, I'm like,
We got it.
I've got to look at it
You
again.
gotta
I
start
got to
from-
look at it again.
you
I
gotta look at-
cannot.
You got to start from ground.
I
from
can't
the
sleep
ground.
on it.
Yeah.
So that is, I will say that because it's never left me.
Yeah.
I think about it weekly, maybe daily sometimes. And every time I go to do something, it's crossing my mind. And I would have to say that's probably the most impactful situation at work that I dealt with where I got something out of it that really stuck with me long term to kind of shape the future of where I'm at now. Is I don't know if it was the way he looked at us. Maybe he individualized me by looking directly at me. But I could just feel it that day when he talked to us that what he was saying, and what he done, he had every right to act kind of the way he did and be upset about it. So I don't.
Well,
I never
the
thought
technician could have potentially killed the dude that was having an issue with his car.
Well, yeah. So
Rear end somebody, head on, whatever. It could have been.
there was just, I don't know. I guess I just felt his passion for making sure that none of us made the same mistakes that guy had made that day or the doctor had made. Because I mean we do in our line of work, my line of work. I have people's lives in my hands. If I'm working on a car, 100%. And from that day, I guess I took it like that. And
you do absolutely. Yeah.
it's real. It's nothing made up. So when I do anything there is to do for some reason, man, that's in my mind. And I guarantee you can ask any of the 7 or 8 other people that may have been there that day, and I can't name them all. But I bet you none of them. They remember the incident, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I bet you they can't remember a single word that he said to us that morning. May not even remember we had a meeting.
Yeah.
But
I do remember that, and I think it was a meeting. I think that he made an example through the whole business.
He probably went from store to store
the
and
whole
told
business.
about it.
I remember it vaguely, but it wasn't something that it was my store where I was working and all that. But it was definitely known in the company that what had happened.
I'm sure it was because that's the way we do things, but never.
Well, I mean, technically on something like that, you need to make an example out of somebody like that because at that point. Because
It needs to be part of the next meetings everybody has, of what can happen.
If you made a mistake, then I'll come and we'll fix it, and you accept that mistake. But if you arrogantly say, well, you just need to drive it and let the pad seat in.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the case, That's
And I'm not, and don't
or
get
whatever
me,
that is.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the guy that did it didn't have an argument there. I'm pretty sure it was like cake, like the everything about the maybe been mudding or something. It was like caked in mud and rocks when he worked on it.
Right.
So he had he had the right to kind of think that there's something like that going on. I guess you could say.
Well, just double check. Everything looks good.
Exactly.
Boom, you're done. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it could have been something like that, but find it, make sure, get the noise to go away, kind of thing,
Yeah.
But that's my moment in time that it kind of flipped in the switch kind of flipped, and it kind of turned me to sort of how I view everything I do today, which is you're not too good to make a mistake.
Oh, absolutely.
And you better make sure you didn't. So with me, I mean, that's why I hated doing oil changes so bad, because I just could not remember if I tightened that oil plug. I'd have to go crawl back under after I'm rotating tires, then I had to lay back under after I got it on the ground 15 times.
I know.
And it was probably because of that.
Because of exactly.
Of that issue and that discussion we had, but I don't know. I can't
I'm sure
tell you.
I'm sure you've had those nights where it'll be
I know exactly where you're going.
3:22 in the morning, and you're sleeping, and bam, you're like, did I tighten that?
Yeah.
Did I tighten that caliper up on that car?
Oh yeah.
Did I torque the hubs down on that rotor? Did I
I remember torquing 3 of those wheels. I took that 4th one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Somebody hollered at me, and oh yeah, it's terrible, man.
Wake up in a cold sweat.
I tell you, it haunts you if you've never done that kind of work.
It does. Yeah.
For me, I don't leave it at home. I wish I could. And
you can't.
The
You
business
can't.
I'm in,
No, you
dealing
can't.
with relations now on the front end, is is completely different too.
See,
you know, because back then I was wrestling with myself. Now I'm wrestling with
yourself and the customer.
Yeah, so it's even kind of worse now.
It's no joke when you go. You know, it's a.
But you have to care about your job for it to bother you that bad.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think for me and you and some of our other guys that we worked with, you know, they probably had. But I think there's some of them that we did work with that had no
care at all.
No care, no conscience, no nothing. Like you could leave the wheel loose and they'll do it again. You know, you could get onto them and then the next day it'll happen again.
Yeah,
you know, or whatever that case. You know, if it's whatever. But anyway.
Well, that's me.
Right.
That's one stupid, dumb little moment in my life that I cannot get out of my head that I think has made a big difference in me and how I kind of view everything I do.
Yeah, I've got a couple. For me, like, you know, I had like we talked previous episodes that I had a work ethic. Well, yeah, I had a work ethic, but, you know, there was some times there where I didn't really have to be doing what I was doing. But I almost felt obligated, like when I was younger, to work. Like, you know, well, that's just what you have to do. It's what I kind of thought.
We were shown that.
From our parent. Let me talk this time, okay? All right, let me talk, big boy. All right. Yeah, okay. All right, so, but anyways, the work ethic thing, but it's not much as a work ethic as it was a life lesson, because working at that store, at that little grocery store, and then moving on to the cabinetry side of it, doing cabinetry, woodworking and stuff, all that was kind of just a passing for me. You know, there wasn't anything there that really stood out. Was like, you know, I've got, you know, this is what I'm going to be doing. Nothing stood out to me. But when I hit the shop, and I seen, and there's nothing wrong with the shop, you know, but when I seen just the atmosphere and everything around it, I was like, and my neighbor, I told my neighbor, and I told her, I didn't know what it was. I told my neighbor, this is one of this little switch that flipped with me and my neighbor. She was a mail lady. And Mel lady, she made good, you know, she told me she made good money.
They used to.
Yeah. And well, even back then she was making like $28 an hour, and I was like, dang, you know, well, I was just starting in the automotive side. But I told her, I said, and that's, like I said, I hated doing shop work or tire work. And I told her, I said, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to, whatever it's, you know, what it's going to be is I'm going to start my own business somewhere. And she kind of laughed, and she's like, well, you have the drive and the motivation to do it, but you just have to do it. You have to put forth effort. And she said, you have to not let anyone, you know, tell you any different. If you think you can do that, you need to do it. And I'm like, okay. And then it, you know, it was passing, and then it was almost like her coming back to talk to me again. It wasn't, but it was like I just sat down and went through like what we just talked about, and I was like, and this is at this time I was just starting tire work, didn't know where my life was going, but I had this thing. I didn't know what I was going to do at the time, but I'm going to save money. I'm going to try to make a difference, doing something on my own. So 10 years later though, but that woman telling me that, she kind of flipped that switch, and I personally didn't want to work in a shop. I see these guys that the mechanics now that have passed away, but the mechanics, they're broke down, they're just in rough shape, you know, but I see that and I was like,
arthritis,
you know, knees blown out, and I was like, I don't want that, you know. I'm still doing it now, but I'm not doing it on the level that I was doing it 6 days a week. I'm still 6 days a week, but I mean, I'm talking about pumping the workout, doing the stuff that we used to do. And I was like, you know, I didn't want to continue doing it. I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to build something for later, if that makes sense. I wanted to do
You just didn't know
something.
what it was yet.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was, but that was I just didn't want to do what I was doing. And then when you get to a certain point in that, you know, you're like, okay, this is it. If I don't choose to do anything different, this is what it's going to be for the next 20 years, you know, before I give it up, you know. And then, you know, and then I start thinking about my age. I'm like, oh, golly bum, 20 years, I'll be 50 something years old. Well, I might still be here slinging parts, but you know, I might still be at my store slinging parts, but I'm going to do something different, you know. So
You're saying that now?
I'm saying yes, that's what I'm saying.
You're still saying that now? Like even where you're at in today, I'm doing something different from today?
No, okay.
Or that was then?
That was then.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So I take that, and I'm hoping when I'm 40 to 50 years old that something has changed and shifted, that I am, whether it's doing another something or might be still doing something in my business now currently, but it's continuing to grow and build. But that was just kind of a shift for me, to see, like, I don't want this environment every day. I don't want, you know, nothing bad against it. It's just a lifestyle that was just, you know, that you got to choose it if you want it. But the second one was probably the hardest, and we'll get into this later. But when this would have been in 18, when we were diagnosed. At that moment, everything as my perspective of life, I'll say, my like, I've got a business,
What was important?
Yeah. So everything in my life, everything just shifted, but I learned right then. This was another life lesson. Like, I learned then that I'm not in control of life like we think we are. You're not in control of your life like you think. We can get something thrown at us tomorrow or tonight that we're not.
Everything.
Yeah, that absolutely not destroys, but then changes. But then you have to accept to be like, okay, we're going to build from this. We're going to push forward. We're going to push forward.
I feel like you've got to have a mindset for that, though, because you could either let it tear you down,
Yeah.
or you could come out stronger from it.
Yes. So you have to choose that, though.
Right.
You have to be the one to choose that. You can sit there and say like, oh, you know, it just is. You know, it is what it is. No, we're coming out of this. We're, you know, but now there's times that things which you feel like you're in that hole, and you know, it feels like everything's fixing to close in on you and it's fixing to be over. But that was a life lesson for me to be like, okay, the things that I thought were important, like getting this business, getting this job, doing my own thing, that's important? No, it's not important. Let it burn. Let her burn down. I don't care. Let her fall to the ground, and I'll never think another thought about it. I'll go down here and work at Food City, and I'll be totally content. Mm-hmm. And even the way that I used to be with customers and this and that, like, I had this mindset of I've got to try to do everything 100% perfect, or I want to try to take care of this person to where they cannot stand not to come back here.
The word you're thinking of is satisfaction.
Yeah.
You were so honed in on it, like 100% satisfaction.
So now I'm like, and then the worry of oh boy, I wonder what so and so, if they're, you know, if they're okay, you know, if what I done for them, you know, like I'm saying, from you do a job for them, either whether it be on their car or their this or their that, they had an issue, and you want to make sure that they're, you know, everything went okay, everything's still all right. You know, hey, is it what I fixed working for you? You know, that sort of thing. All that stuff becomes irrelevant when you go through something so traumatic and life-changing, to where your whole perspective of, like, things that used to bother you, and I'm not picking at all, I'm not going down any sort of, but like when COVID hit, it was a thing, you know, everybody, it was bad, stuff happened, but people are like, you know, are you not afraid? No, I'm not afraid. I mean, I can't be. And there again, we'll get into this later on, but like, it was bad. I'm not taking away from any of it, but your whole perspective changes when something like this happens. Like things that used to bother you, and you're like that customer that, or what your customer that you wanted to check on. You're like, yeah, it'll be what it's going to be. It's done now. That's what I mean by that. Like, well, there's nothing. I mean, if it's not working, you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
So, and where I'm going with that is like we can't change the things even as of right now. We have to work from
in the moment.
What's in front of us.
Yeah.
What's in front of us from this moment right now on to the next day. You can't worry about a week from now because it may not be there. But that was a big turning point for me because the things that used to bother me and the things that bother people around me and stuff, I'm like, don't worry about it. There's no, because you get that whole the mindset of being worried about something that you have no power over. It can have power over you. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying?
Consume your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. It will consume you. Absolutely. But the whole, I was getting lost there, but the whole COVID thing, like people would be like, you need to wear a mask, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like,
because of Coop, that's why they're asking this?
No.
Just COVID in general.
COVID in general. Well, okay, yeah, you could say maybe with Coop, but COVID in general, some other people did say that. Well, you got a son that's sick. Well, yeah, he's healed. He's better than he was, and da da da. So, but as that being said, like they come into your store and they're like, oh, you should be wearing masks because you might get sick or you might do this or you might do that. And I'm like, It's going to be what it's going to be.
Did they have a mask on?
Most of them did, yeah. Most all my customers did.
You're safe. What are you worried about me for?
Yeah, well, but just saying that. It's
driving
just,
in a car with one on?
I had a customer this morning that had one on. That's fine. They do them. I'm not going to say anything, but.
So to recap that, so I understand, okay? So we understand. So to recap that, your first turning point is this mail lady.
Yeah,
ain't it crazy how the supposed to be unimportant things sometimes have the biggest impact on you?
I know.
Ain't
Yeah,
that crazy?
Absolutely. And
the things that really shouldn't are the things you remember, just like that. Mm-hmm. I guarantee nobody else remember mine.
She probably don't even remember the conversation we had. Because it was literally
they have no idea.
3-minute conversation that we had.
And has no idea how big of a difference it made. But it gave you the drive to want to become something more.
Yeah,
and
because of what she said,
Just because of that. And then, but you had that one, which gave you the drive to kind of get you where you are.
To do something different with your, she told me, don't let anybody tell you any different.
But then you're faced with something that we're going to get into that everybody needs to know about because it's an amazing story. But you're faced with something that, Lord willing, nobody ever goes through again in life, ever.
Yeah, but they will. I mean, it's just...
It happens every day.
Yeah, absolutely,
But you're faced with that and says, okay, now nothing else is important. Almost like... Almost like you even forget the first life lesson about the mail lady.
Yeah,
it's like,
absolutely, yeah.
Forget that, forget her.
It is.
But that made you just kind of change the perspective of everything you're doing day to day. Really.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because the things that I worried about, I'm not sounding bad but
wasn't really a worry.
Why worry about it?
Well, it ain't even really a worry.
Yeah, it's not. So
in the grand scheme of
it's
things,
not.
It's not.
And there's nothing that even the things that we worry about most of the time, like 80% of 70-80% of the stuff that we worry about, we can't control it.
Yeah, it's almost like
control
people asking you about Coop. It's like if he's destined to have COVID, he'll get it.
Yeah,
like, if that's what
absolutely.
If that's what's going to happen, it's going to happen.
But we
or us, whatever.
Did
you take a COVID shot?
Did I take one?
Yeah.
No.
So I'll tell you a story on that. If you want me to. Actually, I've got a.
Okay.
You keep going to life lessons. Well, you got something else to say? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So
where are you? Let's go on. Let's keep going on that, and I'll tell you my theory. I've got a conspiracy theory on that. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. That'd be interesting. So
I think there's something to it. I really do. But go ahead.
I do too, but I don't know if I'm going to get into it.
Oh, I'm getting into what I'm going to
Okay,
say.
all right.
Because it's just literally my theory.
But so
And I have examples.
just all that all around being said, you know, my son was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and you know, they give you I think it was a 60-40 shot in a little bitty room. But at that moment in time, I couldn't care about anything else at the moment. That sounds really, really bad. But there was nothing. I'm just saying, like, nothing existed, and that doesn't sound. I take that back. It doesn't matter. It was. I could care less about anything, and that's my honest opinion. I mean, my honest answer. I cared about nothing else, but at that moment. So
You know, I can still remember the phone call that night I called you.
did you? Really? I don't remember that.
See?
Maybe.
I remember it.
Okay.
What is the deal with this episode? I remember everything. You don't remember nothing.
Give me a little grace of that night. Okay.
I think I remember where I was at.
Yeah.
On the
Bull
road,
crap.
and
You can't remember that good.
I swear.
What'd
I'm
you
not
eat?
kidding. I don't remember what I ate. I didn't say that. Anyway, I'm just saying maybe that made more of a difference in my life than I even think it did. But go ahead. Keep going. Keep going. And don't get into that story. We're going to talk about a whole
I just
episode of
wanted
that.
everybody to know what the deal was.
Yeah.
But
Awful.
you know, so at that moment, again, don't want to keep repeating, but it was that was the big lesson there is you cannot let stuff like that, you know, you have to push forward. Even if the end result is not what you wanted. And that's one thing that I had to come to accept, you know, whatever God's will was at that moment, it's already written and it's
out of your
destined.
hands.
It's yeah.
No matter what these doctors say or do.
Yeah. But anyways, the doctor's a 60-40 shot, and that was at that moment.
That sounds like high odds for a stage 4. Did they tell you it was?
Well, it's almost 50-50.
We've got to quit talking about this. Stop it.
I'm not. But anyways,
We're saving that.
yeah, that's almost 50-50. So, but anyways, back to that. It's just everything's out of your hands, and there's no worry. You know, I mean, it kind of even alludes into our next topic is having outside noise and distraction from things from progressing you to go forward. And you may think this is so stupid and minute, but for somebody that's a distraction and this outside noise, for somebody to tell you
He's talking about me.
that you're yeah, that's you. But this distraction and outside noise of, well, I'll just use this one for an example, and I'll get off the topic. But this outside noise is what you're going through, what you're dealing with. You need to keep pushing forward, no matter what it is, whether it's a sickness, whether it's your job, whether it's a, you know, what that is, you know, we would always have this distraction of someone saying, you know, we'd post a good video of our son. You know, we always give people progress report, or not like a progress, I guess you could say progress report. You know, every once in a while, show them a video of him up walking or doing this or dragging his IV pole around, you know, making laps, walking laps and stuff. And we had this one picture of him being in the bed, and this lady was like, oh no, he was eating goldfish, and he didn't eat nothing for weeks, a couple of weeks. We had to put a feeding tube. But anyways, I got to quit going down that rabbit hole. So anyways,
Gotta stay off
that lady says, oh, goldfish causes cancer. This distraction that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. At this moment, I want to go find this lady, slash all 4 of her tires. My son he's eating that he's not ate in a week. But this outside noise and this distraction
I know what you're
from
saying.
pushing, and it looks like somebody's trying to stop my forward progress. Mm-hmm. And that's just saying, continue forward. That's like my best.
Well, it's like this podcast. Same deal. So we've never talked about this. So I had the dream, if you will, but the thoughts of the idea of doing this podcast. And actually, before we decided to do it, I talked to him about doing one. Not really. I probably did say, "Hey, will you do it with me?" Or something, and we.
You kind of said, "What do you think about this?" And I was like, "Well, I've thought about doing one on a different level. Not like on different topics, but But then I was like, well, we could run something together. We could see what we come up with.
Yeah, but we had like a 4-month gap between
or 6 months
between and me talking to several other people, kind of like about doing it, because I'm sitting there fishing for Matt, and he ain't even nibbling, he ain't biting at all on it. So I talked to some other people.
It's that outside noise I was talking about.
And they kind of laugh it off like you're crazy, and. But then he calls me like 4 months later, and that's what I was getting at, outside noise. I told nobody, unless it was somebody I was just interested in, maybe they might want to do it with me. Other than that, I wasn't telling nobody for fear of outside noise.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to let anybody change my mind by getting me down on it or whatever. So, but then like 4 months later, you call me, and you're like, you ever start that? I'm like, I tried to do one, and why are you asking me? He's like, well, why are you interested? I'm kind of interested in it. And I knew I had him then.
It took a few months. All right.
So, but that's the same.
I couldn't remember
same
exactly
deal.
how that started.
I not thinking about it now. I realized that I was keeping outside noise out
Yeah, absolutely.
from me.
Yeah.
I was shielding it myself by not telling people. But I know exactly what you're talking
Well,
about. When it comes to that.
I'm gonna speak for me personally from this. As a human, as a person, in your life, like there's going to be people, there's going to be things, there's going to be at your job, at your home, at your this, at your that, your phone that's in front of you, or anything that is is a distraction from you being successful, from you being who you are truly called to be, or the purpose that you have on this earth, whether it being a business owner, whether it being a manager of a huge store, any of that stuff that you do. The level, for me is like, I try to stay positive, focused, driving forward, and to succeed and do well, and with helping people, doing all the things. But you always have this 15 to 20% of distraction, this noise, this little just
drag you down.
Yeah, this stuff that you don't need, like your family members bashing other family members, and they drive this wedge between this person, and and you don't need to, you need to hate this person. They put this hate inside of you, and you're like, you truly are like, golly bum, I do hate this guy, but I don't. Like, golly bum, I don't even really know him, I don't even know him that well, but yeah. I hate him. But that's that 10, 15% that you have to, so you have to remove yourself from it to the point to where you're like, okay, Matt's mad at us. He don't come around no more. It's not really that. If you want to know why, ask me. I'll tell you. I'm not going to shy away from it. I might have 10 years ago, just kind of gave you a roundabout answer, but I will tell you, and the distraction of maybe a friend or just somebody that you might work with, but it's just a distraction from, and it's you still love the person, you care for them, but you have to. If you want to continue to do better, strive harder, you have to keep that distraction away from you. You need to, if you let 15 to 20% in, it can tear you down. It's just for me. That's for me.
It's just like somebody, when you're kids, whether it be like a parent doing it to you, for some of these kids that don't live in good homes, or whether it be friends at school, or let's say schoolmates at school. Mm-hmm. You hear the words "you're stupid" long enough, you start believing you're stupid.
Yeah,
same deal.
Absolutely, yeah, it is. Yeah,
same deal.
Yeah, I know.
A bunch of negative thoughts start consuming your mind from a freaking Facebook algorithm or TikTok or
Yes. My
anything
gosh.
else. I mean, it can influence your life and your mind and your thoughts and the way
It
you
can,
look
it
at.
can take over you. I
look
mean,
at
if you
things.
let it,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can be you can take the most devout Christian there is on this earth. Well, I won't say that because they ain't going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
they
yeah,
they ain't
yeah.
gonna be seeing that stuff anyway. But somebody who's on that straight and narrow, and you introduce devilish things to them forever and ever, as much as that mind can absorb, they're not gonna be that same person they was, before that started.
Yeah,
It's not-
absolutely.
It's not gonna happen. It's like Bobby Boucher's mama. It's the devil, Bobby. So
Yeah, well, it is that. It's, it's idle time is his devil's workshop. So, I mean, that's that's
idle
just,
hands.
yeah.
What was I?
Or
Gonna,
idle hand is his devil's workshop.
What was
yeah.
I gonna say? Before I said no, wait a minute. I'll tell it in a minute.
Oh,
I've lost it.
I don't know.
She's gone.
But that's just that's that distraction that I'm talking about, from the phones to the people that you're around. I still love you, but sometimes we just got to separate. We just need to do our own things. You keep hating and you keep that stuff to you, and I'm gonna keep doing me, and everything will be fine. We'll treat you just like a normal human when I see you next time. It's just I'm at that point in my life that
Where you're pushing people away that you don't need,
kinda. I'm not
and
pushing.
holding the others close that you do need,
Yeah, kinda.
like
That's-
hosting like second floor sessions.
Yeah, like I need you. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's just that sort of thing of I think it's just a good life lesson, just to, if you have that outside noise and that distraction, that you just need to get rid of it. And it's not that you don't, if it's somebody, family, it's not that you don't love them. It's just tough love sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I completely agree with everything you say too. I mean, it's no matter whether or not you want to admit it or not, it's 100% right. I mean,
You can't
for
be,
everybody.
You can't be the store that you operate, the shop that you operate. You can't have outside distractions. You can't. You can't have that outside noise. I know you'd have it, but I'm just saying you can't accept it. You can't just let it drive your business. As far what? And as far as me, what?
I'm thinking of something.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you said outside noise at stores, and it made me think of a story about Brody's store. And Brody, I don't think I've ever told you this. Oh, it's funny.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt you.
All right.
So
no, you're good.
Please
you're good.
continue, and
No,
I'll tell the
I'm
story.
I'm just where I'm going with that. It was just just saying that the outside noise is a deal. I mean, it is something that and by no means am I somebody.
Don't let it in. That's what he's saying.
By no means am I somebody that you need to look up to, because I'm just an old turd anyway. I'm just an old turd. But that's got my own opinion. But yeah, so let me hear this story.
So
Let's-
speaking
real
of
quick.
outside noise at a store, you said not running your store. You can't have that outside noise. It immediately clicked a thought in my mind about Brody's store one time. So he said that.
This is the one that. This is okay. All right. It's the one I worked at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Brody's working on managing that store, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's there working that day, and there's a bucket truck there in our parking lot working on the sign. Okay.
Your sign.
The store sign.
Okay.
Yeah. Working on the store sign. Well, I don't know what was going on, if it was lunch or what it was. I don't remember. But somebody's needing to leave. One of the front office salespeople are needing to leave. And it's sort of like, you got this bucket truck is blocking this person in. Okay. And it's sort of like your whole Austin Powers thing. You got to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle to get it out, right?
Uh-huh.
So they're trying to do this, right? He says that there is a, what was it? There's a, I think, so the bucket truck is sitting there, and that guy goes to leave, and somebody had to move their car to kind of let him get out. We could move this without disturbing the people in the bucket truck or whatever. That person goes out, and they move that car. They back into that bucket truck while it's lifted up, right? So this thing's sitting there just shaking like it's right here. People are hollering, the guys are hollering, whatever's going on. At the same time as there was a tire rat there driving like this old station
tire rat,
wagon.
if you don't know, a tire rat is somebody who comes by and pilfers through all of your used tires, your old
junk tires.
all your used tires that you pitch out that the customer doesn't want back or they're getting rid of. That's your tire rat.
They try to find good ones and go sell them for $5 or something.
Yeah, it gets a little money.
Yeah. So anyway, this tire rat, it's a girl, by the way, has left in this station wagon out in the middle of Kingston Pike, in the middle of Farragut. Okay, pulls out, all these tires fly out of her car, off the top of her car, wherever it's at.
Why this is others going on too?
While
The
this is
bucket-
happening,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so the bucket truck's sitting here rocking away, okay? There's a big trailer or something along this side of the building over here. They're over here working on this sign. There's a big trailer kind of blocking the parking lot where, like, maybe they had a blowout or something on the trailer. I don't remember exactly what the situation is. Kingston Pike is jammed up with all these used tires everywhere. You've got a bumper laying off of a car because the tires have came out and hit this car, knocked the bumper off. You've got a tire rat putting it back on for him out in the middle of Kingston Pike. Tires everywhere, like 30 tires laying around
my
everywhere.
gosh.
Okay? Now, how she got them in there, you knew Lynn Sowers, so you can figure that out.
Yeah.
But anyway, tires laying everywhere while the Michelin truck shows up and can only turn, because there's a bucket truck this way and a trailer that way, it can only turn its truck up in the parking lot. So half a trailer blocking Kingston Pike, the other half blocked up with tires and bumpers laying off of cars, a bucket truck shaking, rocking all over the place.
Wow.
Brody says, I can't do this. So there's your outside distractions trying to work their way in.
Absolutely.
But when you said that, it made me think about all that at the same time.
Oh, that's good.
So that's why I started laughing so hard.
Oh, that's good. Phew.
Oh my goodness. So that's a good story right there.
That is.
And speaking of, I remember what I was going to say earlier is about the COVID shots.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a theory. Okay.
Now this is all opinion. This is all just us talking. So it's nothing. Don't take no offense to this, anybody. Okay.
Anyone at all, and
Yeah.
I don't have. So, for an example, I'll give you this. I have had a COVID shot. He has not had a COVID shot.
I didn't know that.
Obviously, two different people here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't care which side you're on, but I'm going to explain why I did, and you can say why you didn't. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So I feel like, for me, I took one COVID shot. Okay, and it was a long way into COVID, like a long way into COVID, and I had pretty much everyone around me had taken them. So like my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they had took theirs. My mom and dad, all the old people, aunts and uncles, everybody I knew had taken a COVID shot. Me and my wife had not. And
was any of this driven by fear? I'm just curious.
I'm going to get into that.
Okay, I'll let you talk. You go ahead.
Sort of in a way, but I'll tell you what kind of fear that is.
I'll let you talk.
You gonna let me talk?
No, you go. You go ahead and talk.
Anyway, so I did take it, and I'll tell you what ended up doing this. But anyway, it was a long time into COVID. The shot had been around, and people had took it. Everybody took it. As a matter of fact, my dad was volunteering to take it, like before it was ever out as here's your manufacturers, and all this. My dad's volunteering as one being a test person or whatever. Well, what was so funny with that is he went around. I mean, like 6 months before it was ever released to the public, he's had it. I'm vaccinated. I ain't gonna get sick. I've already had my vaccine. He tell everybody. He told everybody he's proud as can be to be volunteering to save America. To save the world. He didn't care. Anyway, what was so funny about that is after it came out and everybody could go get it and do all that, well, he was part of a study, right? He had got the blank. Everybody else had the shot. So they were giving all these people shots, but they didn't tell him, what it was. He got a phone call and said he had to come get his shot still because the one he got was the blank. He didn't have anything in it, like some saline or something.
Golly.
So that was funny. when that happened. And at this point, I still ain't took mine. And I didn't for a long time, okay? Now, I'm going to get into a theory, and then I'll go back to why I took it, or when I took it. Let's say that. David Noe, who died, guy that we both knew, worked with, unique individual.
A good guy, though. Absolutely.
I worked with him for 15 years, 16 years. He was a super good guy, do anything in the world for you. David had cancer. And he battled cancer for a year and was in remission, considered free and clear. And that was fine for an entire year, 2 years, something like that. He had, he went through his first procedure, whatever he had done, and treatments and all that, and he was clear for like up to, I think it was a year or 2 years, maybe. It was long enough to where the PET scans had went down not so frequent. I don't know how long that takes, but
that's usually at least a year minimum.
So it was long enough to get through all of that, right? And every time he went for those PET scans, there was absolutely zero show on cancer whatsoever. None at all anywhere when they did it.
I don't know where you're going, but if you're going where you're going, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, he is so long story short, later on David gets cancer again, and before it was only in his neck, like a thyroid deal or something like that. I can't, maybe throat cancer. I don't remember what it was, but he went from having a PET scan done and everything being totally clear to him going in the next time and they're like, it's back, and it's not just here. It's other places. It eventually was down, showing it in his chest, in his liver, just everywhere. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, this man worked. I remember his last day. He showed up at work. So he was working. He was off on Mondays, taking cancer treatments on Mondays while he was off. Because that's what we all do. Is the responsible thing is handle your appointments on your day off. Well, our boss was giving him Tuesdays off too to recover if he was feeling bad from the chemo and all that, and then. He was supposed to be back to work by Wednesdays, okay? Well, he comes in, and he comes in on a Wednesday after his treatments on Monday, I guess. Comes in on a Wednesday, and he's got blue jeans on. We don't wear blue jeans at work, by the way, if we're up front. He has blue jeans on. Never before ever done that day in his life. Brought a toolbox to lunch instead of his lunchbox. Called his wife and told him he couldn't find his lunchbox. So he got a toolbox instead of a lunch. Anyway, and then that morning he was trying to help a customer, and I just watched him just have like a dead blank stare on the computer. And I called his wife and I said, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I don't know what it is. She said it's his medicine. They changed his dosage and his medicine. It's messing with him. The doctor said this might happen. I will come pick him up. I said, okay. So he showed up, and there was no fight. It was like you see somebody with Alzheimer's, they just don't know what's going on. Right. That's almost what it was like. He was out of his mind. Like he was like, "See y'all later," when he was leaving, and we were like, "See you, get out of here. You take care of yourself." Well, she took him straight to the doctor. They got his medicine right. I never was really around him after that because when he went to the doctor that day. That next morning, he was going to come back to work. I think we had checked with his wife, though. How's he doing? And she's like, oh, he's doing a lot better. They fixed his medicine, blah, blah, blah. Well, that next morning, he called me. No, he texted me. And he said, on the way to the hospital, back pain so bad, I can't stand it. Going to the hospital. I've already told the boss. I said, you handle you. Do anything you need. I got the store. Don't worry about it. So he goes to the hospital. He went home with hospice that night because it was throughout his entire body, in his bones, and he had a broken back and a broken pelvis and had been working.
Sure. Oh, my gosh.
It was his hip. He said, my hip hurt so bad. Oh, yes, it's the pelvis part of it. But it turns out he had a broken back and a broken hip from it because his bones the cancer had ate away at his bones. Okay? So, David died. Okay? David dies from this. I don't think another thing about it. Other than we're missing one of
Yeah,
our
we're
key
gonna miss-
people.
yeah, you're
We're
gonna-
missing one of our key
dude's
people
been
every
there,
day. You
yeah.
think, where's David? Where's David? Where's David? Right? So, but I don't connect the dots until another customer comes in and he says, he's telling me that his wife was a cancer patient and she was the first cancer patient that received proton therapy in Knoxville. Like whenever it was developed up there or something. They had some kind of a machine or something or another. And she was the first patient to receive it. That was 10 years ago. She went 10 years with PET scans and not a single show up of anything or any kind of concern.
You're going to have to hurry and get to this because this is giving me cold chills. But you go ahead.
She took the COVID shot. He told me, and then he said this, okay? He said, she took that COVID shot, and the next time
I've got cold chills all over me.
Good. He said the next time she went back, she was ate up with cancer, and she died like 3 months later.
But I
And
know
I said, hang on, let me finish.
okay.
Come on, I'm getting to it.
this is all speculation, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah. So this is what he.
This is the truth. This is the truth, but it's
It's just a story of what happened.
story
okay?
of thing. Oh, yeah.
So this customer, he told me that, and I still remember this customer say he wears a Chosen hat when he comes in. The Chosen TV show or
Movie.
whatever series.
Yeah. Yeah, series.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's kind of how we got to discussion of it or whatever, his wife or whatever. Anyway, she had died. She's ate up with it, but he told me, he's like, she took that COVID shot and everything was fine until then. And just like that, it clicked. David was the exact same way. And after hearing his story and witnessing my story, I put those two things together. And I ain't got no reason not to believe that that's what's caused it.
I'm fixing to put this
That's
one
what
right
caused
here
it.
with
now,
you.
wait a minute. Do we need to do that, or I need to tell you why?
No,
I
go
took
ahead,
mine.
go
Okay,
ahead.
now
go ahead.
I'll get into mine real quick. So, why I took mine? Okay, a lot of time had went by. Long time into COVID. Everybody around me has it. I ain't seen nobody get sick, die, get hurt, get cancer, or nothing like that linking to it. You know, and you heard in the news people with underlying issues, the ones getting sick and dying from it. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not. I didn't fact check nobody or look into it myself. And then, you know, but everybody I knew that didn't have any underlying health conditions, the shot hadn't affected them in any negative way. They ain't getting blood clots and doing all this other stuff. And even to this day, everything's totally fine with all of them, including myself, as far as I know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
However, me and Megan got to talking about it. And even so, Amber's husband is a pharmacist or was a pharmacist, so I could go down there and see him. He'd give me the COVID shot. You know, it ain't like I'm having to get it from anybody else. It's I know the pharmacist, where it's coming from, who's doing it. You know, so that made me feel a little bit better about it too. And that she had it, their kids had it. She'd given it to the kids by them. You know, and I'm just witnessing no problems with it. You know, so I talked to Megan one night and I told her, I said, listen. I said, I don't know what, and a guy from our church, healthy guy, maybe a little bit older than me, was on a ventilator for about, I don't know how long I followed it on Facebook, like going to die from it. And I've heard his wife's testimony over it and everything, and it was incredible of how, you know, and matter of fact, I've talked to him, he said he had out-of-body experiences where he's looking in the hospital window at the nurses and stuff like that, you know, when he's sitting there on a vent. Anyway, that could be me, you know, easily, because this dude was healthy. He was my age or a little bit older, maybe. You know, so I at that moment when that got so bad, when it wasn't like he went in and came back out, when he went in and was in there for a long time, and I got to thinking what his wife and his kid was having to go through, not knowing if he was coming back home. Neither one couldn't go visit him because it's COVID, you know, same time my brother got killed. Couldn't go in there. You know, all that's going on, and I thought to myself, you know what? What I wouldn't want to happen is for that to happen to me, knowing I could have done something that may have made my symptoms not as bad where I didn't have to do that.
Right.
That is what made me take it. Not the fear of the government, not the fear of anything anybody was putting in me, but from what I was witnessing and what I had to lose, which was my family losing me, which is, I think, important to have me around.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I thought to myself, if I couldn't live with myself or die with myself, whatever, knowing that I left them alone or to figure it out on their own when I could have done something about it, and I've not seen it affect nobody else.
Right.
You know, because that may, I don't know if that guy had the shot or not, and maybe it would have made a difference to him. But that's, anyway, that is why I ended up finally taking it. And I firmly believe if I'd have been put in a position like my brother-in-law was in, which is a big worldwide corporate business, you know, and forced to take a COVID shot, I'd have never even gotten near one of them things if I'd been told I had to do it.
Yeah, right.
But I had no pressure from anybody, did not have to take it. It wasn't a forced upon thing. And I think that's why I was more open-minded to it. Now, with that being said, that's my whole story. Go for it.
All right. Well, so we was in 18, diagnosed. 18 months go by, we're cancer-free. 2 years, we're out. Boom, COVID hits. Luckily we're out of the hospital now, but we stayed in the hospital for, felt like, well, it was a year and a half. We had a point there where we were like, you know, out of the year, we had very few times at home. So anyways, so when you have a stem cell transplant, we had 2 of them back to back, Nashville, and
you're getting into it.
No, it's okay. I just got to tell you where I'm going with this.
Okay.
When you have a stem cell, any vaccines, anything that was ever in your body is gone. There's nothing else. You're chicken pox, you're this, you're that, all the stuff that we got when a kid and vaccinations that he did have, they're gone. They're wiped away, never to come back. Not going to mention the doctor that told us this, 2 doctors actually that told us this. They said, we went back with our checkups and stuff, and the doctor said, and there again, this is all. It's just what our doctor said. He said, whatever you do, this doctor was a Jew. Whether, you know, he didn't believe the same way that I believe, but his oncology practice was spot on, in my opinion. He was the senior oncologist. He said, whatever you do, don't let that boy get vaccinations. Any vaccinations. He said, if you want to later on down the road get his chicken pox and this and that, but do not let him get any vaccinations, and by all means, do not let him get a COVID shot. He said, do not get a COVID shot. Never did tell us why. And our pediatrician, super awesome guy.
Isn't he our pediatrician?
Probably. Yeah, he is.
Okay.
And one of the best guys. I mean, you couldn't find a better one. I thought I had the best pediatrician, but he's probably just as good as the pediatrician that I had when I was growing up.
I had friend.
I had Buddy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anyway,
they were in the same office.
Yeah. So, yeah, saying that, the doctor there also said, you know, they push vaccinations just like anything else. And through all that, our you know, it was a test, basically another testimony to where I had to accept, like, okay, well, if that's what's safe for my kids, that's what I need to do. That's what's safe as a family. He even recommended us not getting it. He said, y'all don't need to even get it. He said, I don't think it's not been approved. But there again, you have all this outside noise, this distraction, all this going on, and I chose, and whether I chose right or I chose wrong, I chose in that moment. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to risk it. I'll fight. If I can fight it off, I'll fight it off, if that's what it's going to take. But in that moment, that outside noise was like, okay, you know, I've got 2 very well-educated doctors that are telling me, for some reason, that they know more about it than I do, undoubtedly. The Jew told us not to take it. Pediatrician told us not to take it. The Jew, he said, I'm not taking it. And for whatever reason, I still hold true to that today. Them telling me that, for whatever reason, and what you're telling me, there's something, and I've read, you can read this all you want. You can go on there and you can find anything you want, but I've read multiple cases in our oncology group. I'm trying to.
okay.
I'm not trying to put family members in a situation to what I'm fixing to say, but they have. I'm not. It's just terrible. I shouldn't even be saying this, but their kids
Don't say it.
are no. But in our oncology circle, they have chosen
To take it.
okay.
Okay.
And have relapsed. So I'm just saying what you said. That's why I was getting over here getting cold chills.
We have never had this conversation ever.
No. This
Ever,
is
ever,
new to this. I didn't even think we'd get into COVID tonight, but no. So that's I don't know. That could just all be.
It's not, man. That's not a coincidence.
Hey, I know. I'm trying to appease everybody at this moment, but I
mean, I'm a walking testimony that it didn't happen to me right now. You know, and along with everybody else that I know, I mean, I'm not saying anything has happened from it, but I know everybody points blame to
we could
different
get
stuff.
we could get into all that, but who's again? I know where you got the shot from, but who's to say that truly had whatever spike protein that goes in that COVID shot? It was in there. Whether you got a saline shot, who knows? I mean, you don't know. We don't know, and I'm not saying that by any means, but I just know what I know when we were in oncology. And I know the people in our circle that we had that had relapsed. And whether the mom and dad's pro-vaxxers, again, that's just what happened in our story and what our doctor said, what both of our doctors said. So that being said.
And you don't know that's what caused it, but it's a coincidence.
And by what you said, and it's just, that was one of those things I was like, if you're going where I think you're going, this is going to give me, and it gives me cold chills even thinking about it.
I love it, man. I love it.
But anyway.
Because that's totally, just off the dome there, off the cuff, telling you that. So I love it. But no, I after he told me that there at work, boy, I'm telling you, man, it clicked in an instant. I thought about David because he was a big.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, he was paramedic. He was a health. I mean, he wasn't a health, but he was a.
He ate healthy. He was a big. Like he went and he got his first COVID
medical.
shot.
He was in medical field too.
His second shot, he got his boosters. Oh, he was quick to tell us. You know, very quick to tell us.
Yeah. I have
and because he had cancer, he was really worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he had an underlying illness.
I'm sure.
You know, but I have no doubt in my mind that played some kind of a part. At least between those two stories, they line up.
I can't imagine the from 2020 to 2023, 23 probably 22, 23. The oncology, just the unknowing, being diagnosed between that time period, and like not being able to see. You know, some families they could go see their kids at a certain time.
Probably one at a time.
And
that's the way it was with my brother's kids.
my time in that hospital, luckily our hospital was, me and my wife had 2 beds pulled together, and we had a newborn, we had a kid on oncology, a cancer kid, and then we had us two. We all could sleep in one big, huge bed. Well, I guarantee you, that COVID hit. They were not even letting some parents in, like you said, one at a time. I just can't imagine going through all that, at that time. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, see, that's what my mom and dad did. They went to each kid's, at Children's, they went to each of their, because they couldn't both be in one at the same time. They let one person, one visitor in with the kids. My brother in the hospital, you couldn't go in at all. Yeah. And especially, of course,
and even looking back at it, even on your brother's side, it's so sad, for what was going on. I'm just saying, going through COVID and you can't go see your brother that's laying there on a.
I think that was made that way.
Okay, absolutely. That's a different way to look at it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got pictures of him.
I know, but absolutely.
But it's terrible.
Yeah, I know.
It's terrible. So I wouldn't have wanted to. I'm the kid who went to funeral home after funeral home when my dad's older. He's about to be 80. He's 79. So, Yeah, and I mean I'm only
You
35.
wasn't kidding. Your mom and dad's a lot older.
Right,
Well, but I mean,
so-
my dad's 70.
But my dad, what I'm getting at
75,
is my
but-
dad knew a lot of older people who were passing away, you know, and I was the kid who had to follow my dad along to the funeral homes. I had to go to the nursing homes, go visit people
Right,
because that's
yeah.
important
Yeah,
for people to
absolutely.
see, you know, I had to go, you know, because he's watching us or whatever, you know, with him, mom's at work or something. But I mean, I've seen all kinds of stuff, you know, old people trying to beg me to get them out of the nursing home. Don't even know if I'm a little kid, you know. And then going to hospitals and seeing people in rooms. And I can remember when my mom died in the hospital. It just wasn't good. So I think it was designed that way. I really do.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
it's-
wish it would have happened different. We'll get into that. We'll get into that in another day. But
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can tell you how bad it was.
Well, it was good. That's good. That's good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was definitely off the top of the head for sure.
Yeah, we just started talking, and it kind of turned into what you all witnessed here. So.
Yeah. But thank y'all again for tuning in to us and listening to us. I guess we'll catch you next time on the second floor. Thanks, guys.